Hey, CES fourth graders, recorders out. I am going to take you through a little bit of a different lesson today. I thought this week, rather than jump ahead and try for another belt, that we would stay on the notes that you know and do some work where we can kind of make sure that you're really getting the notes before moving on to something new. So that being said, I'm going to share some screens with you. And it may seem a little awkward at first because I had to take pictures, just like I've been having some of my 5th and 6th graders do with their theory work. So I took pictures of the screens, and then I'll pop them up there, and we'll work from those. The first page that we're going to work from is a page that has one of my favorite songs on it called My Paddle. We'll do the one on the top of the page, and then we'll come to that one. And in this particular song, we're using our B-A-G. We're going to use our low E, which we also should know by now, and our low D. Okay, so these notes in this particular song. Which makes for some glorious music, by the way. Okay, so screen sharing. Let me take you to the page that I'm talking about. And hopefully you can see this right in front of you. The first song's called Ho Ho Watane. Okay, and it looks like it is by an Iroquois tribe. If you look up in the right-hand corner, it says Iroquois, which is a Native American tribe. Okay, and in this song, just like in all of our other songs that we do, we first need to figure out, okay, what's our time signature? How do we count it? And then we move on from there, okay? In this song, I see the letter C at the very beginning of the song. And that letter C, which is right here, where my little cursor is showing you, stands for common time. And common time is 4/4. So we're counting in 4/4. We start with a half note and then 2 quarter notes. And we remember we count 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do some clapping of the song just to be sure I remember how my rhythm is going to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's line 1. Okay? And if I'd have been really diligent, I would have written my counting in before I started. I didn't do that. So I'm going to get my pencil out right now, and I'm going to stop the screen share. And I'm going to go to the actual page that I'm working from, which is right here, and I'm going to write in my counting. Now, you don't have this page, but you can print out the page, and I'm going to go ahead and set these up on the next to the video. So you can print out the pages on Google Classroom and write in your counting, because I think it will really help you to play the songs better. So we've got 1, 2, first note, hold it out, and then 3, 4. Okay, there's your first measure. Then 1, 2, 3, and hold out beat 4. Then we have 1, 2, and 3, 4. And our last measure, 1, 2, 3, hold out 4. That's how much we've done so far. Okay? So if you print yours out, you can write your counting in just like I did. I'm going to do the bottom line now, starting with the half note pattern. And I'm noticing that this half note is right up above this one. And are you noticing this pattern? Half note, quarter, quarter. Let's see if the first measure on the second line looks familiar. Half note, quarter, quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and write my counting in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next measure, 4 quarter notes. Next measure, 4 quarter notes again. And remember, when you see quarter notes, it's the steady beat. So you're just counting to 4, just like I just did. So my second measure, they're all blacked in, which means they're all quarter notes. They have the dark note head with the stem. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my last measure, 1, 2, 3, hold, beat 4. I'm going to write that one in. Did anybody notice? There's my last measure. At the end of the line, what do you see? What's that sign? It's a repeat sign, right? It tells you to play it 2 times through. Alrighty. So we've got our timing written in. Let's do the second line with the clapping. So we have half note, 3, 4. Oh, you know what? I better go back to my screen share so you can see it. Now you won't see the counting on this one, but you're going to write your own in, right? So we're on the second line. Here we go. Half note, 3, 4, quarter, 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 3, 4. Or you can just count 1, 2, 3, 4. I just like to be able to tell you what the notes are, okay? What's the next thing I'm going to write in? Well, we've got our rhythm down. Now we've got to know what notes to play. And if you look at your very first note, it starts on the 3rd line. It's a B. So I'm starting to write in my notes. And I look at the second note and compare it to the first one, and I see it's also a B. And I'm putting my notes up above my staff so that I don't get it confused with the counting. So I've got B, B, and look, is it going up or down from B? The note head is what I look at. Be careful. Kids, sometimes we get mixed up, don't we? When you when you do your notes, you're looking at the head of the note, the round circles. So you can say, this one's in the same space, on the same line, and this one goes down to the space below it. So we're heading down. How about this one? I went B, B, A, compare it. Good, it's another A. I'm going down from A to G, so now I have 2 G's in a row. So I'm going to write in B, B, A, G, G, and I'm just going to continue filling in my notes so that I know what to play next. I'm already on my second line, starting with a G. And I've got those nice low E's in there. I've got low D's on the second line. Those are going to be fun to play. Let's see if you can see where I mean, where we have the low E's. So we go G, hold, G, down to E, then we play another E, and then we're moving down again to the low D, D, then back up to our space, A, then back down, compare if you need to, E, E. Where are we? Back to the space, A, and now compare if you need to, E, E. Okay? So we have everything written in now to ensure our success. I love how my mouth is up above here. You look like a ventriloquist. All right. So we can now play along on this particular song. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and put the screen share back up on this beautiful Native American melody. And I'm going to set myself a real steady tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, finger my B. Repeats. And now I'm able to play the song. So my suggestion would be print this out, okay? And as I said, these will be available for you right underneath the video that I'm doing right now so you can print out your pages. The next song is called My Paddle. I'm going to play it for you first. It's one of my favorite melodies. Actually, also, it says it's a Canadian camp song, so it was probably written somewhere in Canada, but I believe it was also written by some natives because it kind of has that sort of sound that you might experience from maybe a flute that maybe wasn't made of plastic at one time. All right, so here's My Paddle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. Okay, great song. Now you kind of have that melody in your head, right? I'm going to sing it. Okay, look at your words here. My paddle's keen and bright. So it's talking about rowing a boat here, right? And if you were in class right now, I'd have you stand up and we'd all be rowing right to the beat so that we could feel where that beat was. So stand up and row with me, all right? Here we go. And my paddle's keen and bright, flashing with silver. My paddle's keen and bright, dip, dip, and swing. My paddle's keen and bright, flashing with silver. My paddle's keen and bright. I'm sorry, second words are, follow the wild goose fly, dip, dip, and swing. Hey, I need new glasses. That second line's different, isn't it? Follow the wild goose flight, dip, dip, and swing. Okay, great song, right? First thing we do, 4/4 time. Now, there's a little trick to this one, okay? And maybe you're noticing it right off the bat. On this one, guys, it doesn't start on the beat. It starts on an 8th note, which is going to make it feel a little bit kind of herky-jerky, which there's a word for that. Where the rhythm is uneven, we call it syncopated, okay? So we're going to have a syncopated rhythm. So it still starts with beat 1, but it's only a half a beat long. So I've got to put the and of 1, because remember it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm going to go 1 and 2 and 2 and 3 and, oh boy, Miss G. I had it right the first time and then I second guessed myself. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is how we're going to count that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. My paddle's keen and bright. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. My paddle's keen and bright. See how that works? Look at the counting. If you've printed your pages out, write it in. How about the next measure? 1 and 2 and 3, 4. It's similar with the 1 and 2 because we still started on that offbeat. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay? What are my words here? Flashing with silver. I had to double check. Flashing with silver. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay? Line 2 is exactly the same on the first measure as it was on the measure above it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Right? Follow the wild goose flight. And then our last measure, dip, dip, and swing. Dip, dip, and swing. Remember, we're going to have to hold that. So we've got 1 and 2 and 3, 4. I'm going to write that one in. It's a tricky one. One and 2 and 3, 4. So in order to play this great song, you're going to want to write in that timing. Okay? And above it, I'm writing in the notes. Now, I'm already scanning my song, and I'm saying, well, I see a B, I see an A, I see a G, I see an E. On the very first measure, I've got all those notes, B, A, G, and E. And then on the second measure, I just say G, A, B. Just going back to like hot cross buns, right? And then my first measure on the second line looks exactly the same as the first one on the first line. And then when I get to my last measure, I can see E, E, and there's my D. E, E, D, E. So I'm writing in my notes. Remember, these are just to help me at the beginning. When I get really good at playing my music, I want to erase my notes. So don't write them in pen, write them in pencil so that you can always erase them and use your music later without having them written in. Okay? B, B, A, G, E, E, G, G, A, B, 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 A, G, E, 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 D, E. See it? Write them in. You know what the great thing about remote teaching? You can pause it and you can write that in. And then you can practice it a little bit before you come back and play it along with me. Okay? I'm going to give myself a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I didn't repeat it. I played that better than I did the first time for you. And do you know why? Because I had all the notes there. I was really counting it, and I was able to really read it. Okay? So here it is with nothing on it. You can practice playing it along with me. Let's do number 21, My Paddle. Let's listen to it again. Or let's not listen to it. Let's play it along with Miss G. Here we go. 1, 2, finger your B. Great song. I love, love, love that song. Hopefully you enjoyed it too. Okay, and don't forget, you can keep on stopping and pausing and practicing. That's what I want you to be doing this week, okay? I have a couple more pages to share with you. Let's see if I can find it. Good. This is the one I wanted. Doesn't always happen that way. Let's see if I can make it a tiny bit bigger. Not too much, a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to move it up a little bit so we can see it. On this page, guys, we're moving to our high C, okay? So I said we would be practicing our high C today. Double checking my time because I have a meeting soon. All right, Our high C, if you remember, I showed you how to finger it last week. It's where we take all of our fingers except 2 on top and thumb in the back. So we have a high C. And this first song, number 23, says, "See You in Dixie." That's just being a little silly title. If you notice, every single note you're playing is on that C. And that's just to get your fingers used to playing that note, okay? Now, we have some fun stuff in this. As you can see, we have some eighth notes that are connected in sets of 4. Usually we see them in sets of 2 and we know them as TTs, but now we're connecting them in sets of 4. They're still TTs, okay? And we count them just like we counted the TTs. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and here we're counting them, double checking my time signature. Yes, we are in 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Do you remember how you write 1 and 2 and? You go 1 plus 2 plus 3, 4. Okay? You just add this plus sign when you have these notes because they go faster in music. So we have to add the plus sign to add that extra little beat, okay? And then the second measure, 1 and 2 and 3. Then what do we do on beat 4? What do we do on beat 4? I'm sure you said we rest on beat 4 because you're right. Okay? How do we count the next measure? 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Did you notice I made a fancier plus sign this time? That's an and sign. And you can do that if you want to. Practice those. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. That's right, where I wrote that in. And then my last 3 quarter notes. Remember, whenever you see quarter notes by themselves, they're just keeping a steady beat. And at the end of the line, a quarter rest. It also keeps a steady beat. Okay? Can you look at the second line and see the similarities? I see something happening here. It's the same. Okay? So I don't even know if I'm going to write mine in. I'm gonna trust that I can do it because the top line's the same, and I know I'm gonna play all the notes on C. So I'm just gonna put a C at the top with an arrow that tells me stay on C and play the pattern. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So I'm gonna go back to my screen share now. And we're going to stay on the note C. Right? A little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay? So I'm fingering my C, and I'm thinking of my timing. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So when I play it, I've already got that idea of the rhythm in my head. Here comes the beat. 1, 2, ready, play. Stop! I forgot to tell you something. When you do eighth notes, your tongue has to re-attack each note. Did you notice? Because if I don't re-attack it with my tongue, it's going to be all slurred together and I'm not going to be able to tell if it's a half note, a quarter note, or an eighth note. Okay? So when I do my TTs or my eighth notes, I have to tongue every one, just like I have to tongue my quarter notes, but it's going to be a little quicker in between, isn't it? Let me try it again for you. So it sounds like I have a little separation. So I'm going t, 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 or d, 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 right? So remember T-tonguing and D-tonguing. We can do either one. You ready to play the whole line? And then we're going to play the second line because it's the same as the first. Here we go. 1 and 2 and off we go. Rest. on C. Rather than trying to play songs over and over and over and over, and then your head goes, ah, I can't do it, and you get frustrated, okay? We don't have to get frustrated. We want to be able to play our songs and know what we're doing and not get frustrated, okay, guys? All right. Look at the next song. It's called Hush Little Baby. That's why there's the baby on the page. And Hush Little Baby is kind of a popular song, actually. I'm going to go ahead and move it up a little bit so we can see this a little bit better. Okay. It's a song that's been around a long, long time. It says traditional at the side. Traditional, guys, means that we may not even know who wrote it. Whoever did, though, made it popular. And when we see the word traditional, it means a lot of people know it, okay, and it's been done a lot, okay, kind of like a tradition in your family. When you have a tradition in your family, maybe on Friday nights you eat popcorn. That's what we do. It's a tradition in my family, okay? Maybe on your birthday you eat cake. That's a tradition. A tradition with a song, if it's a traditional song, that means a lot of people know it and a lot of people choose to sing it or play it, okay? Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. If that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. And now I'm looking already and I'm seeing some eighth notes, so I've got some ands in my head, right? And so I'm looking at my counting again right off the bat, and I'm saying to myself, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So I know I have to be ready to put in my counting, starting with my quarter note 1. I'm still in 4/4 time. There's my C for common time. I'm counting 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, hold, 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, hold. Okay? And did you notice something? I didn't start writing it in. I'm going to make my brain work right now. I'm not going to write it in. I'm only going to write in some letter names if I think I might not remember them. But I'm looking and I'm saying B, 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 they're all B's, goes up to a C. I think I'll write my C in because it's a new note to me, just to be sure. And then I'm looking at my next pattern. It starts on B again. Look back if you need to. B, where's it going? Down, A, 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 back up to B. Okay, I'm not going to write any of those in. I can see those now. I know what a B is. I know what an A is. How about the next one? A, G, G. I'm going to see if I can play that without having things written in. I know the timing is ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. Where is that screen, Miss G, so they know what you're talking about? I can see my pattern right in front of me. Ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, ti, 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 ta, ti, ti, ta, ta, ta. That's my first line. Maybe I want to practice clapping it. Do you remember how to clap tas and titis? Ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta. Half note. Ti, 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 ta, ti, ti, ta, ta. Half note. I could practice the clapping a couple of times, and I bet you then I'm going to be able to play it better. I'm going to do my second line. Ta, 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 half note. Ti, 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 ta, ti, ti, ta, ta, half note. Okay? So you could practice your clapping and then go back and put in your song. I bet you are going to be able to play this one pretty quick. If you did the work on the other two pages, this will be easier. Let's see if it is. I'm going to go a little slower because it's a song that for the baby, right? Hush, little baby. I'm going to sing it, or play it like a lullaby. Here I go. 3, 4. Repeat. You know what I noticed while I was playing it? I never used my E or my D in this song. So it was very easy. I only used my top 3 notes, B, A, G, and C. Shouldn't be too hard. Hopefully you're going to get this. I think that's enough for this week. Practice those 4 things over and over. And then when it's time to move on to the next belt, you're going to be able to play it easier. So you're going to practice this song, and you're going to practice for, some of you haven't gotten your purple belt yet, some of you haven't gotten your blue belt yet. So these songs are going to help you prepare to get those even better than you already maybe have, okay? So practice those, do what you can, and I'll see you next time. All right, don't forget you can print these out. Have a very wonderful day, evening, whatever time it is for you. Stay safe and healthy.